Formation of Earth and early life 4.5 billion, 2 million years ago. Formation of Earth 4.5 billion years ago. Earth formed approximately 4.5 billion years ago from a cloud of gas and dust surrounding the young sun, a process known as accretion. The early Earth was molten due to frequent collisions with other celestial bodies and radioactive decay. Over time, the planet cooled, forming a solid crust, and water vapor condensed to form oceans. Early life 3.8 billion, 2 million years ago. The first evidence of life dates back to around 3.8 billion years ago, with simple single-celled organisms like bacteria and archaea. Photosynthetic bacteria, such as cyanobacteria, emerged around 3.5 billion years ago, producing oxygen and gradually changing Earth's atmosphere. Complex life forms, such as eukaryote cells with nuclei, appeared around 2 billion years ago. Multicellular organisms evolved around 1 billion years ago, leading to the Cambrian explosion 541 million years ago, when most major animal phyla appeared. The age of early humans and hunter-gatherers 2 million, 10,000 BCE. Early hominins 2 million, 300,000 years ago. The genus Homo emerged around 2 million years ago, with species like Homo habilis and Homo erectus. Homo erectus was the first hominin to migrate out of Africa, spreading to Asia and Europe. These early humans used simple stone tools and controlled fire. Homo sapiens 300,000 to 10,000 BCE. Modern humans Homo sapiens evolved in Africa around 300,000 years ago. By 70,000 years ago, humans began migrating out of Africa, eventually populating the entire globe. Hunter-gatherer societies dominated this period, relying on foraging, hunting, and fishing for survival. Cave art, such as that found in Lascaux, France, and tools like spears and bows were developed during this time. The Agricultural Revolution 10,000 BCE, 3000 BCE. Transition to agriculture. Around 10,000 BCE, humans began domesticating plants and animals, marking the start of the Agricultural Revolution Neolithic Revolution. Early farming emerged in regions like the Fertile Crescent Middle East, the Yangtze and Yellow River Valleys China, and Mesoamerica. Crops like wheat, barley, rice, and maize were cultivated, and animals like goats, sheep, and cattle were domesticated. Impact of agriculture. The shift from nomadic lifestyles to settled farming led to the establishment of permanent villages and towns. Population growth increased due to a stable food supply. Social hierarchies and specialized labor emerged, laying the foundation for complex societies. The rise of early civilizations 3000 BCE, 500 BCE. First civilizations. The first civilizations arose in river valleys, where fertile soil and water supported large populations. Key early civilizations include Mesopotamia Tigris-Euphrates Valley, Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians. Egypt Nile Valley, Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms. Indus Valley Civilization, Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. China Yellow River Valley, Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties. Mesoamerica, Olmec Civilization. Characteristics of early civilizations. Development of writing systems cuneiform, hieroglyphs, etc. Construction of monumental architecture pyramids, ziggurats. Centralized governments and legal codes e.g., Code of Hammurabi. Advances in mathematics, astronomy, and engineering. The Classical Era and the expansion of empires 500 BCE, 500 CE. Classical civilizations. This period saw the rise and expansion of major empires and cultural achievements. Persian Empire, Achaemenid Empire under Cyrus the Great and Darius I. Ancient Greece, city-states like Athens and Sparta, philosophy Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and democracy. Roman Empire, expansion across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, Roman law and engineering. Maurya and Gupta Empires India, spread of Buddhism and Hinduism, advancements in science and mathematics. Han Dynasty China, Silk Road trade, Confucianism and Taoism. Key developments. Spread of major world religions: Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism. Advances in science, philosophy, and art. Extensive trade networks: Silk Road connecting civilizations. Decline of classical empires: example, fall of Rome in 476 CE marked the end of this era. The medieval period and feudal societies: 500 CE, 1500 CE. The medieval period, also known as the Middle Ages, spans roughly from the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 CE to the start of the Renaissance in the late 14th century. This period is characterized by a lack of centralized authority after the Roman Empire's collapse, leading to the establishment of feudal societies. Feudalism. The structure of feudalism dominated during this period. The society was organized hierarchically, with a king at the top, followed by powerful nobles or lords, knights, and peasants or serfs. Lords controlled land granted by the king in exchange for military service and loyalty. Manorial system. The economy was largely agrarian, with peasants working the land for their lords in exchange for protection and a place to live. This system was self-sustaining, with little trade and few advancements. The Church. The Catholic Church played a central role in medieval society, influencing everything from education and politics to law and art. The Church was a major landowner and the center of intellectual and spiritual life. Key events. Charlemagne's Empire 800 CE, the Holy Roman Empire, led by Charlemagne, represented an attempt to unite Western Europe. The Crusades, 1095 to 1291, religious wars aimed at recapturing Jerusalem, leading to increased contact between Europe and the Middle East. The Black Death 1347 to 1351, a plague that decimated Europe's population, causing social and economic upheaval. Decline. By the end of the 15th century, the feudal system started to break down due to economic changes, the growth of cities, and the rise of central monarchies. The Renaissance and scientific advancements: 1300 CE, 1700 CE. The Renaissance was a period of cultural, artistic, and intellectual rebirth that began in Italy in the 14th century and spread throughout Europe. It marked the end of the Middle Ages and the beginning of the modern era, with a renewed interest in the class of ancient Greece and Rome. Humanism. Intellectuals embraced humanism, emphasizing individual potential, secular subjects, and classical texts. It encouraged the study of subjects like literature, history, and philosophy. Art. This period saw the creation of masterpieces by artists like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Botticelli. These works emphasized realism, perspective, and human anatomy. Science. The Renaissance was a time of great scientific discoveries, many of which laid the foundation for modern science. Key figures include: Nicholas Copernicus proposed the heliocentric theory, challenging the geocentric view of the universe. Galileo Galilei used the telescope to confirm Copernicus's theories and made advancements in physics. Johannes Kepler developed the laws of planetary motion. Isaac Newton established the laws of motion and gravity, which would dominate the understanding of physics for centuries. The printing press, invented by Johannes Gutenberg in the mid-15th century, the printing press revolutionized the distribution of knowledge and helped spread Renaissance ideas throughout Europe. Key events. The fall of Constantinople 1453, marked the end of the Byzantine Empire and the beginning of the Ottoman Empire's dominance in the eastern Mediterranean. Columbus's voyage 1492, opened the Americas to European exploration and colonization. The Age of Exploration and Colonialism 1400 CE, 1800 CE. This era, also known as the Age of Discovery, involved European exploration and the establishment of colonies across the world. Driven by the desire for new trade routes, wealth, and the spread of Christianity, European nations embarked on global exploration. Key explorers. Christopher Columbus 1492, made the first recorded European contact with the Americas. Vasco da Gama, opened sea trade routes to India around the Cape of Good Hope. Ferdinand Magellan led the first expedition to circumnavigate the globe. Colonization: Europeans established colonies in the Americas, Africa, and Asia, exploiting local resources and labor, particularly through systems like slavery and encomienda or forced labor. Impact on indigenous peoples: colonization had devastating effects on native populations through violence, disease, and displacement. Triangular trade involved the exchange of goods and enslaved people between Africa, the Americas, and Europe, creating a massive transatlantic economy. Key events: Treaty of Tordesillas 1494, divided the New World between Spain and Portugal, with other European powers soon joining the race for colonies. The Industrial Revolution and Technological Progress 1750 CE, 1900 CE. The Industrial Revolution was a period of profound economic, technological, and social changes, transforming societies from agrarian economies into industrial ones. Technological innovations. Steam engine: innovators like James Watt improved the steam engine, driving industrialization and transforming industries like textiles and transportation. Textile industry: the invention of the spinning jenny, power loom, and cotton gin revolutionized textile manufacturing. Railroads: steam-powered locomotives facilitated the mass transportation of goods and people, linking cities and regions. Urbanization: people moved from rural areas to cities to work in factories, leading to overcrowded and unsanitary conditions. This created social issues, including poor working conditions and child labor. Social and economic change: the rise of industrial capitalism and the growth of the working class. Labor unions began to form as workers sought better wages and conditions. Key figures: Karl Marx developed the theory of socialism and communism, critiquing the inequalities produced by industrial capitalism. Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller, key figures in the rise of industrial tycoons in the steel and oil industries. Key events: The Factory Acts, legislation aimed at improving conditions for workers, particularly women and children. Political revolutions and nation-state formation 1700 CE, 1900 CE. This period saw major political upheavals, as ideas about democracy, liberty, and national identity began to take hold, leading to revolutions and the formation of modern nation-states. The American Revolution 1775 to 1783, inspired by Enlightenment ideas, the 13 American colonies fought for independence from Britain, leading to the creation of the United States of America with a constitution that promoted democratic principles. The French Revolution 1789 to 1799, the French Revolution overthrew the monarchy, challenging old feudal structures, and established the First French Republic. It was driven by economic hardship, social inequality, and Enlightenment ideas. The Haitian Revolution 1791 to 1804, a slave rebellion in Haiti that resulted in the establishment of the first independent black republic and the abolition of slavery. The Latin American Revolutions 1800, inspired by the American and French Revolutions, Latin American colonies gained independence from Spain and Portugal, including countries like Mexico, Argentina, and Brazil. Rise of nationalism. The 19th century saw the growth of nationalism, with the unification of Italy under figures like Giuseppe Garibaldi and Germany under Otto von Bismarck. Key events: Napoleon Bonaparte. After the French Revolution, Napoleon rose to power, spreading revolutionary ideas across Europe through his conquests. The Congress of Vienna 1815. After Napoleon's defeat, European powers sought to restore stability and balance of power through diplomacy. The Civil War 1861 to 1865. In the United States, the conflict between the North and South over slavery and states' rights resulted in the abolition of slavery. World Wars and Global Conflicts in 1914 CE, 1945 CE. The early to mid-20th century was dominated by two devastating world wars, followed by significant global conflicts that reshaped nations, economies, and the world order. World War I 1914 to 1918. Causes: The war was triggered by a complex web of alliances, nationalism, imperialism, militarism, and the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary. Tensions between European powers had been building for decades. Major players, the Central Powers Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire versus the Allied powers France, the United Kingdom, Russia, Italy, and later the United States. Impact: the war led to unprecedented loss of life, new warfare technologies such as tanks, machine guns, and chemical weapons, and the redrawing of borders. The Treaty of Versailles officially ended the war and imposed harsh penalties on Germany, sowing the seeds for World War II. Results: the war ended with the collapse of several empires: Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, Russian, and German, the formation of new countries, and the creation of the League of Nations. Interwar period 1918 to 1939. Economic consequences: the Treaty of Versailles contributed to economic instability, particularly in Germany, leading to hyperinflation and the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. The Great Depression 1929, a worldwide economic crisis that caused mass unemployment, poverty, and political instability. It led to the rise of extremist political ideologies like fascism and communism. Totalitarian regimes: leaders like Hitler in Germany, Benito Mussolini in Italy, and Stalin in the Soviet Union established authoritarian governments that promoted nationalism and military aggression. World War II 1939 to 1945. Causes: the Treaty of Versailles, economic hardship, and the rise of fascism in Europe set the stage for World War II. Germany, under Adolf Hitler, sought to revise the post-World War I order through territorial expansion. Major players: the Axis powers Germany, Italy, Japan versus the Allied powers United Kingdom, Soviet Union, United States, France, and others. Key events: Invasion of Poland 1939, Germany's invasion of Poland triggered the start of the war. Battle of Stalingrad, 1942 to 1943, a turning point in the war where Soviet forces defeated the Germans. D-Day 1944, the Allied invasion of Normandy marked the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. The Holocaust, the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews and millions of others by Nazi Germany. Results: the war ended with the unconditional surrender of Germany in May 1945 and Japan in September 1945. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers, and the world entered the Cold War period. The war also led to the establishment of the United Nations and the division of Europe during the Cold War. The Cold War and Decolonization 1945 CE, 1991 CE. Following World War II, the world was divided into two ideological blocs, the capitalist West led by the United States, and the communist East led by the Soviet Union, creating tensions that lasted for The Cold War 1947 to 1991. Ideological conflict: the Cold War was primarily a struggle between the capitalist democracy of the United States and the communist dictatorship of the Soviet Union. It led to a global rivalry for influence and power. Key events: the Berlin Airlift 1948 to 1949, the Soviet Union blockaded West Berlin, and the United States responded by airlifting supplies into the city. Korean War 1950 to 1953, a proxy war between the communist North Korea supported by China and the USSR and the capitalist South Korea supported by the United Nations, led by the United States. Cuban Missile Crisis 1962, a confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union over Soviet missile deployments in Cuba, bringing the world to the brink of nuclear war. Vietnam War 1955 to 1975, another proxy conflict between communist North Vietnam supported by the USSR and China and capitalist South Vietnam supported by the United States. The Space Race, a technological and ideological competition between the US and the USSR to achieve milestones in space exploration, including the first manned moon landing in 1969 by the US. Nuclear arms race: both superpowers built large arsenals of nuclear weapons, leading to the doctrine of mutually assured destruction (MAD), which deterred direct conflict but led to proxy wars. Decolonization 1945 to 1975. Following World War II, European powers weakened, and many colonies in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East sought independence. India's independence 1947, the British Empire granted independence to India, leading to the creation of India and Pakistan. African independence movements. African countries gained independence from European colonial powers in the 1950s and 1960s, though many of these nations faced challenges like civil war and economic instability after independence. The Suez Crisis 1956, a diplomatic and military conflict triggered by Egypt's nationalization of the Suez Canal, which involved Britain, France, and Israel, but ended with US and Soviet intervention, showing the declining influence of European powers. The Information Age and Digital Revolution 1990 CE, present. The late 20th and early 21st centuries have been marked by the explosion of information technology, transforming every aspect of human life. Rise of the Internet. The widespread use of the Internet has revolutionized communication, commerce, and entertainment. The development of web browsers, search engines Google, and social media platforms Facebook, Twitter has made information instantly accessible to billions of people. Personal computing. The creation of powerful personal computers and smartphones, such as Apple's iPhone and the development of Microsoft Windows, transformed work, communication, and entertainment. The digital economy. E-commerce platforms like Amazon and eBay have reshaped global retail, and services like Uber and Airbnb have disrupted traditional industries. Social media and connectivity. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter have transformed social interaction, politics, and activism. Social movements like the Arab Spring were driven by social media. Artificial intelligence AI and automation. The development of AI and machine learning is leading to automation in industries like manufacturing, transportation, and customer service. These technologies are expected to reshape economies and labor markets. Key trends. The rise of big data. Companies and governments now have access to vast amounts of data, which can be analyzed to predict behavior, improve services, and increase profits. Cloud computing. Services like Amazon Web Services AWS and Microsoft Azure have enabled businesses to store and process vast amounts of data on remote servers. Cybersecurity. With the rise of digital information, there are growing concerns about privacy, hacking, and cybercrime. Cultural evolution. Art, belief systems, and social structures. Over the centuries, culture, art, and belief systems have continually evolved, with significant shifts influenced by scientific, philosophical, and social changes. Art movements. From the Renaissance to modernism, art has reflected the changing ideas, technologies, and social conditions of each era. Impressionism late 1800s, focused on capturing fleeting moments and the effects of light, as seen in works by Monet and Degas. Cubism early 1900s, led by Picasso, Cubism sought to break objects into geometric shapes, reflecting the fractured realities of the modern world. Abstract Expressionism 1940s to 1950s, an American movement that focused on spontaneous, expressive forms and colors. Belief systems. Over time, major religions and philosophies have shaped societies. Enlightenment thought 1700s, the emphasis on reason, individualism, and scientific inquiry helped shape modern Western philosophy, politics, and culture. Global religions. Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism have continued to evolve and interact in the modern world, often leading to new interpretations and movements. Social structures. Social systems have evolved, with modern societies increasingly focusing on issues of gender equality, race, and human rights. Feminism. Women's rights movements gained traction in the 20th century, leading to significant legal and social changes, such as women's suffrage and the feminist movements of the 1960s. Civil rights movements. Global movements have sought to address racial, ethnic, and social inequalities. Future prospects. Technological, social, and political trends. Looking toward the future, several trends are likely to shape the coming decades. Technological trends. AI and automation. Continued advancements in artificial intelligence could lead to significant automation of jobs and a transformation of the labor market. Quantum computing. Quantum computers could revolutionize fields like cryptography, drug discovery, and complex modeling. Sustainable technologies. As climate change becomes an increasingly urgent issue, technologies like renewable energy, electric vehicles, and carbon capture will be crucial in shaping a sustainable future. Social trends. Globalization and cultural exchange. The interconnected world will continue to experience cultural and economic exchanges, with potential for both greater cooperation and conflict. Social justice movements. Issues like racial equality, LGBTQ+ rights, and economic justice will remain central to societal debates. Political trends. Global power shifts. China's rise as a global superpower could shift the balance of power, while the role of international organizations like the UN may evolve. Populism and nationalism. Political movements centered on nationalism and populism have risen in many parts of the world, potentially challenging global cooperation and the liberal international order. Human history is a vast and dynamic journey, shaped by the continuous evolution of societies, cultures, and technologies. From early human migration and the rise of ancient civilizations to the transformative events of the medieval period, Renaissance, and the Age of Exploration, humanity has witnessed significant advancements in governance, knowledge, and global interaction. The Industrial Revolution propelled rapid technological progress, while the political revolutions of the 18th and 19th centuries redefined power structures and nation-states. The World Wars and Cold War marked a turbulent era of conflict, reshaping global alliances and ideologies. The information age has ushered in an era of digital revolution, transforming communication, work, and personal lives. Throughout history, cultural evolution has driven art, belief systems, and social structures, and as we look ahead, technological, social, and political trends suggest an increasingly interconnected and rapidly changing world. Ultimately, the story of human history is one of progress, conflict, resilience, and innovation, with each period building upon the last to create the global society we experience today. So, what do you think about the course of human history? Have we truly unlocked all the secrets of our past, or are there still countless mysteries yet to be discovered? From ancient civilizations to modern-day societies, our journey through time is filled with stories of triumph, tragedy, and untold wonders. What events or figures do you believe had the most significant impact on shaping the world we live in today? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the complexities of human history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insightful explorations. Until next time, keep reflecting on the past, it's full of lessons that shape our future.